if you're new here, I'm Kaniti, and if you're already watching this channel, welcome back. Today we are going to watch 6th episode of the series Haunting of Hill House, so let's get it, let's go. Alright, let's see. So I took a few days break, had a strong headache for a few days also, but now we're going back into it after dramatic ending of the 5th episode, which left me a bit like, I wouldn't say nervous wreck, but I like a little bit less than that, I just don't have another words for it now. And I was watching it on the day of Halloween, which was pretty fitting, but yeah, then I could relax and eat some Halloween food I made and drink tea, and now we've calmed down and we are ready to jump back into the story and see where it goes from there. I'm really curious how this episode will play out, because we basically had an episode dedicated to each kid, right, in that family. And now we have 5 more episodes with Nelly also being dead, right? So I'm curious. Obviously, I think the past will continue intertwining with the present, but will it be dedicated to someone in particular or not? Or it will be just like all of them? Let's see. So I think she's pretty much done working on the corpse. Because she doesn't. Because she's dead. Yeah, to feel better, right? I think actually it wasn't that bad, to be honest. I kinda expected it to look worse. See, they already at the funeral venue. Everything is almost ready. Food. Yeah, that's. I always found that strange. Eating at the because I've never been at a funeral, but I've been to the other occasion that's after the funeral. Mm-hmm. For me, it feels strange to kind of, oh gosh, eat at occasion like that. Yeah. Okay. See, the whole family is coming together. Okay, she even kind of referenced that. Luke should be fine, I think, unless something happened that we didn't see. I think he doesn't want to see his kid dead, so yeah. And for Luke also, it's not just his sister, but also his twin sister, so maybe it's like even harder. A lot of alcohol, that I kind of understand. Like, I'm not much of a drinker myself, but it is fitting for the occasion. Well, you don't have to, I think. If you feel like you can't do that, you don't have to do it, I think. Um, Alright, that's his, like, ex-wife. I didn't write down her name. Maybe hot tea would be better, to be honest. With lemon and sugar. Yeah, I think so too. Like, that's, yeah. Okay. With our luck, something paranormal is going to happen. And on the sleeping thing, I think that's fair because, like, the most recent death that I witnessed was of my dog when she was euthanized because she was, like, very sick and old. And it did feel like the life has left her body. Like, you felt that she's dead, not just sleeping. You can feel that. I think he's being very nervous. Also because he said the ghost too. So he's even more rattled. He is more kind of person that talks a lot when he's nervous. No one is looking at Luke now. How is he doing? Oh, he just left now. Okay. Is that mom? Well, you wanted to see some ghosts. Here you go, another one. Yay. Oh, she's getting closer. Oh boy. Well, that's a lot, to be honest. What does that mean? Okay. Maybe he wanted to fly separately. Didn't want to talk. Okay, so coach is like normal class, I suppose, that I'm usually using. I didn't know it had that name. Is he shocked to see his kids? That. Okay. Oh, that's how. I wonder that's how he sees them? Like as kids? Oh, that's kind of cute, right? I wonder why they like not seeing each other that often. No, that's normal thing to like suggest. Someone comes over, you offer them some tea. Such circumstances. Oh, is the he talking to mom? Again, maybe they kind of drifted apart because of all the events they had to live through, and dad was also under suspicion by police, as we know, right? So, oh, and he sees her as a kid also. I don't know. I kind of think that's a cute touch. Like it shows that the parent always sees their kid as kids, right? No matter how they grow up. Like herself. Like before that, he kind of answered like to mom. Like she said, "Oh, look, they're all grown up," and he was answering like, "Yeah, I can hardly believe it myself," or something like that, right? So I wonder if she comes often. Remember at the wedding, she was also standing near him, and so maybe he's like used to it. But then, is this really mom, or is that's like is that her spirit, or is that spirit of the house? You know, because in the end of the previous episode, The spirit looked like mom, but it was like the house killing Nelly. So the spirit coming to dad and talking to him, is it really mom? What? It looks such a huge. Is this a castle? Is this the house? Holy mother. Transitioning to past events. Mm. Thank God not on somebody's head, right? I had something like that. Like a light falling down on the floor. Pretty heavy one too. Thankfully not on my head. Well, it's probably because it's old and it kind of weared out. How to say it? Worn out? Hail? Like really hard snow? Mmm. It's scary. I never saw anything like that. Ice break in the window makes sense. Yeah. Maybe she's also scared. Okay. Ah, yeah, I heard about that. So that was very close. Why would she go away from her parents in this moment? I would want to stay closer. Oh, I missed her. I'll have to rewind. I'm not sure about that. Hmm. It looks cozy with the lights, I'm sorry. Like they're looking at Christmas decorations. Feels like the younger girls are being kind of left out, right? Why can't they like come up and? Okay. It was a bit strange how they had to stay aside, though. But I don't know. Oh gosh. Poor Nelle. Hmm. In the end, he failed protecting. Well, only one word. I think that's normal for kids to think up words. So what? Invention of words is literature fit? That is also true. So what does it mean? Oh, okay. That's totally fair. It sounds cute too. That's not how it works. Oh, wait, so mom came up with this word. Hello, dear Santa. How do you do? Ah, okay. Oh, sorry. That's cute. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, she asked for others. Always. Yeah, it's really sad that Nelly could have so much life in front of her. But she didn't want to do it. She was killed, but they don't realize that. I think. Why was he scaring them? That's not nice. Voice. Okay. Mhm. Ah. Not about herself. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she called him. But you so ghost yourself too now by now. Or he thinks that he is getting mental illness too. Ah, he's talking to mom again. Well, oh girl. But I mean, Is she gonna kick her out for that? I'm just like, no wonder they are not like gathering in one place. Usually, it falls apart real quick. Ah, that's the separate account. That's the truth he didn't want to talk about. Okay, that explains it. I didn't have any idea. Humiliated. That's what he did. Okay. Yeah, I think she's a bit shook after all that. Something happened to the body? I'm sure no one of them would mess up with the body, so. Buttons? I'm sure nobody did that. It's like in Caroline. But why buttons? Oh, that's so creepy. What was her name? Beldam in Caroline, the monster with the buttons. Oh, that's so scary. And they're all going in different directions. When the corpse arrived, her neck was okay. She didn't have to like correct her neck. I didn't kind of think about it, right? Hmm. I guess that's back to the storm night when they were looking for her. Yeah, I don't think she would. Ah, classic. Didn't change much, to be honest. So many statues too. Gosh. I don't think we've ever shown also the things that mom saw. She kind of mentioned something, but we never saw her visions. Did she see herself dead in the future too? Like Nelly did with Bent Neck Lady? But it would be easier for mom to realize that she's seeing herself. That would be really traumatizing. Or maybe it was different for her. Oh, it's the room with the sick bed. Oh, someone is dead. Looks like an old lady. So that was her sick bed. I think Nelly would answer if it was her. Or a boy in a wheelchair. The one she mentioned. That's the first time we see him. He's just rolling away. He's like, ah, thanks for opening the door. Okay, I'm off. Okay. I wonder if she sees them like all that. That is so. Ugh. It's hard to live like that. Oh, now she disappears as well. People are disappearing one by one, like in a murder mystery. Something. No, that's not the final night yet, right? I don't think there was a storm then. Though I might be wrong. Where's she lady in here? Yeah, on the final night they were like drinking tea somewhere. Okay, she's behind him now? No. You know, the classics. But if the house can use a vision of her before claiming her life, because it did create Bent Neck Lady. That was like a vision of Nelly in the future. Now the window is okay. Okay. So much screaming like they've been fucking killed. The ghost of the dog. No, she has a rainbow on her shirt. Nice touch. Whew. Okay, let's go. Nella? Oh, she's back. It feels like really like her and mom experienced the most of the paranormal. That's why they were affected the most, right? And they were both back in the same place they disappeared in, right? And they just left the buttons there. They were like, okay. I thought it would be coins because it's a tradition to put coins. So you could think like mom put coins as a tradition. Old one, but was Nellen. Yeah, like I think it's kind of validating also that dad also believes that everything was real. For a kid, I think it's validating. About mom? About like everything. So, I think if Dad and Luke could talk one on one, he is not talking to himself. He is talking to a ghost. Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you want to listen to him or not? Oh wow, the wrong parent. He went there to like to his face. Maybe Nell's spirit was unhappy with them yelling at each other. She was like, "Okay, guys, fucking stop." Did the table just disappear completely? Not like when broke, but just. Oh. Poor dad. Also, like, I think he really did try his best. I think Steve is being really unfair. Especially since he now saw the ghosts too. I thought he could be a bit more. I thought he wanted to see. He wanted to understand, but from the last episodes, it seems like he really didn't. So you can see why Nell and Shirley were mad at him. To be honest, I understood that more. Um, lately. What? What is going on? Was this like something romantic? Isn't she only into women? Is she in both? Or like, what is that? I'm confused. That's so scary. She and mom were already like whisked away by spirits somehow on that night. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Like I was saying already, it's like it's super sad. Like it's yeah, scary sometimes, but more sad, right? Poor girl. Oh no, the and and none of them could see her ghost, her spirit. How could I say it? Well, Dad saw her for a bit when she said Daddy, and he looked over and she was there, and I guess that's when he realized, oh, that's the bent neck lady. It was like a representation of her then, and that's kind of how House go to her, and maybe on that stormy night also something happened that kind of already claimed both mom and Nellie as victims, and so kind of their fate was already prescribed. How do you say that? Well, you get the gist, right? And again, I like the dad a lot, and I really do think he tried his best with everything. And I like how at first in the house he was being more realistic, but then when he saw paranormal things happening, he wasn't being stubborn about it. he realized that it is true, and he realized how scary the house is, and that like the house itself is dangerous, right? And he tried to protect his kids as much as he could, and I think that's really commendable, and Steve is being really unfair to him. So yeah, a little bit about Steve. So at first, yeah, I had that impression that okay, he's researching these ghost stories and he's like writing about them and stuff because he wants to see the ghost. He wants to experience what his siblings have, what his family has experienced, and he wants to understand it because he never did experience much of that when he was little, right? It kind of went and how to say it, all the others experienced lot more things. Even Shirley, much less, but still something, right? And him, like almost nothing. And he was chasing that. That's the impression I got at first. But then watching through these episodes, maybe it is there deep down, but from what he's saying and from how the other characters are talking about him, it really seems like he just exploits these stories, his own families and other people's, while not actually believing them at all and thinking it's either something that can be explained, right, by science, like impressionable being, like seeing things just because of you have strong feelings of like grief and worry, or like with that lady, right, you heard the sound, you have a leak in the ceiling, etc, etc, right? Or with his siblings, where it's like more strongly pronounced, he thinks it's just mental well, not just, like he thinks it can be explained by mental illness, and he refuses to believe, but then he does see the spirits. He saw Nellie and he saw mom then too, and he was still being like in denial. So does he think he's now getting mental illness also? How does he kind of work through that? How does he explain that to himself? I'm not sure. Maybe maybe he's having a bit of a crisis right now. But I think there is also a bit of a connection between the parents and the kids, specifically between mom and Nell and dad and Steve. We have a bit of a parallel. Like Nell is yeah, the other kids also, they are a bit separate right now, right? We are talking about these two specifically because I feel like they are more clear, like parallels to their parents, how should I say it, right? So Nell got the most, I think, of the paranormal abilities from her mom, it seems like, and they seem the most connected in the backstories, also the way we see them together. And Steve and Dad also spent a lot of time with each other, felt more connected. But while Mom and Nell kind of stayed, I feel like on the same wavelengths, with Dad and Steve, we have a confrontation instead. I'm kind of trying my best to explain my thoughts, but I feel like it's not really working out. So we'll see how the situation progresses. After the 5 episodes dedicated to each kid, we got an episode that got everyone gathered together. We also didn't have an episode kind of dedicated to Dad, I think. When this was about like all of them gathering in one place because of Nellie's death. So again, it's kind of catalyst. It could be something that could bring the family back together again. A tragedy can do that, or it could be just a catalyst for everything falling apart. Well, at least this episode everything was falling apart, as well as Shirley's life, which was confusing with her husband and Theo. I was like, what was happening? I felt that they were close, but more like brother sister vibes, like he cared for her, but nothing romantic between them, right? They seem to share a secret about an account. Now we have an answer about that. But the scene that we saw them together in the end of this episode, it seemed to imply there's some relationship between them, which was a bit confusing to me. I felt like it was kind of stated to us that Theo is just like into women. Of course, you can be like maybe sexually attracted to only one gender, but can develop feelings to both of them. And also you can be bisexual, which is also a possibility. I just feel like it wasn't really presented to us. That's why it feels a bit confusing, right? It felt like she's only into women, but now maybe like into both as well. It's complicated. I don't really understand it. I've like it's not like it came out of nowhere. There was shown some connection between us, but it didn't seem romantic to me. So maybe it's just a misunderstanding here. Maybe it's something different, right? So that part was a bit confusing, but yeah, okay. Last thing, Dad is talking to himself. I think he's talking to spirit of his mom. And the spirit of Nell that we saw also was Nell herself. She was upset that her family wasn't there when, like, gosh, what am I saying? Like, didn't see her spirit, right? Her ghost, you could say. And she was sad about that, and that was also like a parallel a bit with that event in the past, right? But then there's also Ghost of Mom that we see sometime, and I just assume that there are visions that house can create. For example, that Olivia walking around in circles with Dad, I don't remember his name, trying to follow her in the past. That was the vision of the house, while Olivia herself, just like Nell, just stayed in one place, invisible, right? So we have both. We have visions created by the house, and we have actual ghosts of the people who are just like themselves, right? So there is a ghost of Mom that Dad always talks to. She's just with him as herself, as just normal Olivia, which also kind of can be nice for him, I suppose. He can feel the loss a bit less, maybe. I'm not sure. We didn't really see things that much from his perspective. Maybe we will. But that's kind of nice because it was, I think, pretty obvious in this episode that he talks to her and he answers to her sometimes, and other kids don't see her like all the time, and so they don't understand what the heck, what is he talking about, who is he talking to. But it's also interesting that at first he didn't have like any special abilities like his wife, but now he can see her constantly, and he can see other ghosts and stuff. So I guess kind of the house did that to him, so to say, which is also wow. Okay, I think that's all of my thoughts for this episode. And just like a lot has happened, right? But that would be it for this one. So please share your thoughts without spoilers, of course, in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and see ya.